Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn a new chapter of grade 8 civics. The name of the chapter is Indian Constitution. We are going to see it in two parts. Let us move ahead. The introduction. The introduction of this chapter. Let me introduce it. See, we have looked at the Indian Constitution in class 6 and 7th in our social and political life textbooks. Have you ever wondered why we need a constitution, or been curious about how the constitution got written or who wrote it? In this chapter, we will discuss both these issues and also look at the key features of Indian constitution. Each of these features are crucial to the working of democracy in India, and some of these will be focus of different chapters in this book. The name of the chapter is Indian Constitution. Let us move ahead. Why does a country need a constitution? Why does it need? See, we study in a class. Our class has some rules and regulations. Yes or no? Similarly, our country, if considered as a class, it needs some rules and regulations. And those rules and regulations are written down in constitution. As our rules and regulations are written on chart in the class wall, similarly these are our rules and regulations of the country are written down in the book called constitution. Today most countries in the world have a constitution, while all democratic countries are likely to have a constitution. It is not necessary that all countries that have a constitution are democratic. Those who are having democracy plus other, for example communism, in China we have communism, they do have a constitution. Russia, they have a communism, they do have a constitution, because it is really mandatory to govern a country to have a constitution. The constitution serves several purposes. First, it lays out certain ideals from the basic of the kind of country that we as citizens aspire to live in. Or put another way, a constitution tells us why the fundamental nature of our society is. A country is usually made up of different communities of people who share certain beliefs but may not necessarily agree on all issues. As we all know that India is a home to so many religions, castes, creeds, cultures. They all have their different practices of celebrating festivals, celebrating their cultures, but they are all bound by our Indian constitution. That's why it is very necessary, very important to have a constitution, because all are bound with this constitution and all have to agree with the constitution. So in 1934, Indian National Congress made the demand for a constituent assembly during the Second World War. As we all know, we in 1934 we were under British rule. And as the Second World War was going on, many nations were declaring themselves as free from the rule of Europeans. Similarly, our National Congress also had declared in the year 1930 as freedom. But at that time, they had told and asked for our own and only constitution. This ascertain for an independent constituent assembly formed only of Indians gained momentum, and this was convened in December 1946. The photo on page 2 shows some members of the Constituent Assembly between December 1946 and November 1949. The Constituent Assembly drafted a constitution for independent India, free to shape their destiny at last after 150 years of British rule. The members of the Constituent Assembly approached this task with the great idealism that the freedom struggle had helped produce. We will read more about the work of the Constituent Assembly later in the chapter. The photo alongside shows Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru addressing the Constituent Assembly. So, here we have a situation that is in recent past in the neighboring country of India, that is in Nepal. What was that situation? Let us go to it. Nepal was a monarchy. The previous constitution of Nepal, which had been adopted in 1990s, reflected the fact that final authority rested with the king. So the people, those who were on the side of king was giving their judgment towards those people. So injustice was served in Nepal. So many people, common people, a people's movement in Nepal fought for the several decades to establish democracy, and in 2006 they finally succeeded in the putting an end to the powers of the king, as justice was not served in the Nepal country. So all the people continuously protested for the decades, and finally their protest laid fruits, and in the year 2006 they were declared as democratic nation. Now the people have to write a new constitution to establish Nepal as a democracy. The reason that they do not want to continue with the previous constitution is because it does not reflect the ideals of the country that they want Nepal to be, and they have fought for. That is why they have written down rules and regulations such a way in their constitution that all people should be equal in front of law and order. Let us move ahead. What are the key features of Indian constitution? As India is a huge country and home to many religions and cultures, we have various key features of our constitution. The beginning of the 20th century, the Indian national movement had been active in the struggle of independence from British rule for several decades. During the freedom struggle, the nationalists had devoted a great deal of time to imagining and planning what a free India would be like. For under the British, they had been forced to obey rules that they had very little role in making, because all the laws and order was favoring to British. Indians were given very low, or maybe they were not given as much as importance in lawmaking or decision making as British did. They had a huge role in playing. What are other federalism? What are other key features? Federalism is one of the very good features of Indian constitution, that this refers the existence of more than one level of government in the country. In India, we have government of all the state level at the center, and Panchayati Raj is the third tier of government. The vast number of communities in India meant that a system of a government needed to be devised that did not involve only persons sitting in capital city New Delhi and making decisions for everyone. It would have been very difficult if all the people were sitting in the capital city of Delhi and making decisions for all the Indians. If all the decisions would come from there, justice would not have been served properly. So what we did is we implemented the model of federalism. We have distributed the power into three levels. So instead, what we did, it was important to have another level of government in the states. We have state governments, so that decisions could be made faster, and for that particular area they can be made very fast and justice can be served faster. While each state in India enjoys autonomy in exercising powers on certain issues, subjects of national concern require that all these states follow the laws of the central government. So what they did, that on certain subjects state government could take decisions. So all the powers were not only in the hands of central government. Some powers laid at Panchayati Raj, some powers laid at state government, and that is why it was very easy for taking decisions and uh, solving the problems. Now, parliamentary form of government. What is parliamentary form of government? The different tiers of the government that you just read about consists of the representatives who are elected by people. Constitution of India guarantees universal adult suffrage for all citizens. When they were making the constitution, the members of the Constituent Assembly felt that the freedom struggle had prepared the masses for universal adult suffrage, prepared, and that this would help encourage a democratic mindset and break the clutches of traditional caste. During the independent movement or under the British rule, India was facing several problems of casteism. Lower caste, upper caste, people from upper caste were not giving much more importance to the lower caste, and that was a big wall between the people of India. They were divided in that way. That is why in the Constitution of India, what we did is to the people of India have a direct role in electing their responsibility representatives. What they did, they had given as per universal adult franchisee, all were given right to vote, and all the people's vote had same power as the king had voted. His vote power had one vote, and the other also had same weightage. So all were equal in front of order law. Also, every citizen of the country, irrespective of his her social background, can also contest in election. Anybody could contest for the elections. That was also, and these representatives are accountable for to the people whoever are elected members. It can be MPs, member of parliament. It can be MLAs, member of legislative assembly. They are accountable to the people who have voted for them, and that is why it was very important to have parliamentary form of government in our country. So rest of the things we'll see in the part 2. Thank you. Have a nice time.